All right, radio check. We're walking away. This is going to be digital without the encryption. Smells pretty.
You guys digitally.
Radio check, 1, 2, radio check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hey RCT, welcome back. In this video, we are going to review the COTRE CO06D or 6006D, kind of a weird name, but the reason why I'm pulling these back out, I actually stuck these in the box, wrapped them up pretty good as much as I can, and put them in the time capsule because COTRE announced somewhere on the internet that they're not going to be making these anymore. So we're going to review these in this video. We're going to go over the housing, the cosmetics. We're going to go over a little bit of what they can do. These are DMR and DMR versus, meaning digital radio, digital mobile radio, and they are analog. I realized that I actually made a video for a field test, testing out these radios out and about. I think it was somewhere up in Deer Valley, and they did very well with the DMR version, the digital version, compared to the analog. In fact, if you watch the video, the analog just did not do as well as the digital version. The DMR by far exceeded what the analog was doing. And I don't mean to say that the analog was terrible on these radios, but it proved that DMR by far is able to outperform the analog version or the analog mode. So my encouragement is for anyone is to get into, digital or, digital, whether it's P25 or DMR. The connectivity is so far that I've seen does a miracle. It does a lot of wonders on the communication. I'm sure it does a lot more than that. I typically stick to just the communication. A lot of people like to hook up their phones and use all that sort of stuff. That's great. I guess I've never really dived deep into that kind of stuff. I've always been a professional radio user, police, security, so I don't really do POTA and all sorts of other things that people do with some of these radios. But anyways, all right, I digress. So going over the radio, obviously is DMR, so it's going to have the basic, I don't want to say basic, but the common radio abilities where you have your digital and analog. So one thing I did want to note here is that on the top here, you can see that the channel knob actually rotates 360 or continuous, and I do appreciate that because if you're ever on channel 16, the last thing you want to do is have to go all the way back to channel 1. Are there cases where you have to go to channel 16 and channel 1? I mean, unless you're in a professional setting, yes. I can tell you at one of the sites that I used to, that I helped set up, they actually have 3 zones and 16 channels, 5 frequencies, but it's plus capacity. And so a lot of their staff have to go to zone 1, 2, and 3 and different channels. When the zone 1, so they named their channel zone 1A, zone 5A, and that's how you're able to say, hey, get me on 1C or 5B. So it is nice that you can actually go from 1 to 16 here. Not a lot of radios are able to do that. I think I've seen a few XPR 7550s or 7500 radios that are able to do that. And again, that's widely appreciated. Let me drop you a little bit more standby. All right, hopefully you can see these a little bit better. I wanted you to have a direct view of these. Again, I realize that I got to make sure that the content is on this side of the phone. You're in front of me right now, but the phone is actually far to my right. Anyways, going back, let's, again, the audio. So what I can tell you right now is that the audio on these radios, it's not very loud. I don't think it has a speaker that is as loud as some of your typical Motorola or public safety radios, which is fine. But the audio is very clear. Like I said before, I've used these for some time. These are great radios. They sound awesome. They connect very well. And I do like the fact that they're very small. They're small. They fit into your palm. They're not very heavy. I don't think the battery is a very big. It's a 2000 milliamp battery, so it's not very heavy. It has lasted me for some time, so I don't want to say it drains the battery very quickly. But I've actually had these sitting on the shelf for some time, and they've never really drained entirely. And in fact, I've used them for half a day, and they still don't really drain as much. So from what I read before, I think it was on a different booklet for maybe on a Motorola radio, where it said that on digital standby it uses less battery than it does for analog standby. And I don't know if it's because perhaps digital is a less output input ping or standby waiting for audio. So when we talk about standby, your radio is typically waiting to receive a frequency to unmute. If the frequency is a tone and all the setup is appropriate or matches, then it will unmute and broadcast the audio. So that's typically what it means when it says the radio is on standby. It's waiting to receive something. At the same time, sometimes you'll see a radio blinking. This is just the breathe light right here. This means this is just trying to tell you it's on, and it's standing by. But some radios, what it does is it's waiting to be unmuted when it has the right information. So again, I don't want to go around circles, and I'm sure you understand that. But digital apparently standby uses less battery versus analog. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason to it, maybe a little bit more power, but that's what I read on these before. So let's go review the radio. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into this, and obviously it looks like a radio, but you have two programmable buttons here. So these radios I did program some time ago. I don't think entirely. I think I was starting to mess around with the CPS. Like I said, the CPS was by far the most difficult thing I've ever had to look for. And I only got it because I came across someone who said, "Hey, I have it, and I'm willing to share it. I'm willing to, hand it out to you as a donation." And we swapped. We swapped products and services, so that kind of worked out. And so I was finally able to program something into these. So at least program something. I started, uploading, or what do you call it, read the radio, see what it does. And again, it's the common things that other DMR radios do. But again, the CPS is basic, but it's there. These are not FPP, meaning you cannot program from the screen, which is perfectly fine. Like I said in one of my previous videos, I'm a big fan of pre-setting up or pre-programming or pre-planning your radios before you head out. I'm not a fan of saying, "Hey, let's go out to the desert," or camping or hunting, and okay, now that we're here and we have everything set up or campsite set up, now let's program our radios. No, I think you should really have that already set up before you go, especially if you're an enthusiast or a hobbyist. You should already be. They should be in the back of your mind, programming, connect with your friends, say, "Hey, let's channel 1 through 6 is this, zone 2, 1 through 6 is this." At least have some sort of contingency backups, right? So, okay, reviewing the radio again, I do appreciate the yellow housing here. I don't know if these are IP rated. I want to say it was at some point that it was IP67, IP60. I don't think it was 68. IP68, the first number, IP stands for intrusion protection, or a lot of people come up with different acronyms, intrusion, whatever the case is. But it just means that it's going to prevent dust, dirt, and water, moisture to get into your radio. So that's what typically the IP stands for. And then the numbers 6 and 7 or 6 and 8 typically means the level of how much it can actually prevent from coming into the radio. So I will have to look through this. Like I said, I do remember it's having some sort of IP rating. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was 67, which is still not bad. 68 typically means you can submerge the radio into so many feet and for so long, and it'll still keep it from getting moist or damaged inside. 67 is typically where it says it can get drenched in water, but not dunked in water, or at least for not a long period of time. So I'll put the chart down here below or right here in the middle so you can see what that means. But if it is a IP rated radio, again, I want to say this is something I do recommend if you're a prepper, if you're one of those that likes to go out and hike and whatever, I guess, an operator, I guess you would call yourself, because again, you can roll around the dirt with these, you can roll around with these in the water crossing the lakes, and you should be fine. So I'm just kind of going through this booklet right now just to kind of remind myself what this radio has. Again, I don't want to say it has more functions or abilities, features than other DMR radios, but what I was looking at right now is that it does have encryption, and I do remember I tested the encryption on the other field test radio. Maybe we'll do another one here. And I think it's just a scramble. It's not really encryption, it's a scramble. So I know some are going to say it's not an encryption, and I get it, but I think it's a scramble, which is better than nothing. I know some I would say on Instagram there is a page that I follow. They're all about preparedness and operators, and they talk about you don't need encryption. You don't need encryption. It's too hard to program. And I don't believe that. Right? Every radio and every mode or feature is made for someone. In fact, I saw someone else later on post a video. I don't know if I can use it, and I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to reach out to them to see if I'm allowed to. And I'll do a, what do you call it when you use someone else's content to explain. So the first people said, you don't need encryption, it's too complicated, just get they were trying to promote a BTEC UV Pro, which is fine, but don't discredit encryption, right? So the other person came through and said, hey, look here are my encrypted radios. And when you don't encrypt your radios, look what happens. And he was talking about how he can find people camping or hunting, because anyone on the radio is going to commonly say, oh, I'm over here at this lake, or I'm over here by this trail, or someone on the radio is going to say where they're at if they're talking to their buddies. So you're going to know where they're at. So why would you allow others to hear what you're doing, where you're at, and how many people are there? And you're obviously going to drop first names, right? So why not use a scramble or encryption if you have that? Here it is. Add encryption through programming software, which is not true, unless they really mean encryption is a different, like AES 256 or DES. The encryption that I saw, you can actually program it right through here. And let me show you. Let's see if I can show you right now. I went here, settings, let's see, radio settings, encrypt, right there, encrypt on and off, right? So if it's on, you won't be able to hear the other person. And you have all of these, so you have 10 different codes to use. Very awesome. So let me show you what one sounds like with the encryption. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Right? Do you hear that? And actually, to be honest, that doesn't sound like a scramble. It actually does sound like AES encryption or DES, UCM, whatever you want to call it, encryption. Because the reason I can say it sounds more like that, because a scramble would almost be a fuzzy audio. I think I ran a scramble on the TalkPod or Tide Radio, and it almost sounds like robotic. It's just a little bit more difficult to hear. This, on the other hand, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1. That's what common encryption sounds like. If you ever listen to a scanner, that's exactly what you're going to hear typically. Let's go to another code. So that's one. Let's do 10. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. All right. So that's what your encryption is. And again, if you're out camping, hiking, if you want your kids on the radios and you want to use first names and you want to see where your kids are at and you're Again, why not have the availability to do that? Again, I'd never discredit or dismiss a option that you can have on your radio to keep you and your family safe. All right, that's really what I recommend. That's my professional or expertise advice to you, is just make sure that you have a way to be safe when using radios. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, 1 2 3 4 5. Right, so that's what it sounds like. Very clean. Let me do that one more time. Radio check 1 2. Radio check 1 2. Very clean, very clean. The microphone's right here. So it's actually very nice that it's in. I do appreciate radios that have their microphones a little closer to the middle, because you're typically more likely going to talk directly into the radio versus some radios have the microphone down here, or they have the microphone up here. The XTS versions, the microphone's way up here. I think the XPR on one of them is down here, another one's up here, right? So having it right in the middle, I think it's brilliant, because you're obviously you're commonly going to direct your voice to the middle of the radio, right? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Very nice. All right, that's what digital sounds like, and let's go and check analog. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5. A little echoey, but I think it's because I'm here. I'm pretty sure if I walked away, it would sound a lot better. But again, what I want to say is that it was loud enough that wasn't even on full volume, and there's not a lot of background noise. There's not a lot of static or white noise in the background. Typically, if you use an FRS radio, there's just a lot of noise in the background. You can hear that the radio's on, and then you'll hear the voice, and then you can still hear the white noise in the background. One more time. Check 1 2. All right, sounds very nice. We'll have to see if there is a Roger beep of some sort here. I do like to hear those. Audio settings, radio settings, power level, again, high and low. You can program one of these two optional buttons here for high, low. I think one scan, and I don't know what the other one is. You can program the top here as well. That is optional. And I think you can program some of these radios with other buttons here as well. So let's see, what did we say we're going to look for? Tone, silent, you can do the tone. Vox has Vox. Let's see if that works. So I'm not going to press the PTT. Check 1. Oh, hello? There we go. Check 1 2. I'm not pressing it, and it's still active. Very nice. There you go. Oh. Very nice. It's actually really sensitive. There's other radios where you have to literally okay, I had to turn it off. It was really sensitive, which I appreciate, because there are some other radios that you literally have to yell into the radio. You have to put the radio up to you, and again, it still has a hard time keying up with you talking. So I do have these other radios, the Retivis or Retivis, the little tiny ones that you can wear around your neck, and you literally have to yell into those for it to turn on the Vox, the voice activation. So I do appreciate that, especially if you have a speaker mic, if you do have a headset. I think that would be awesome, but you just got to be careful if there's any noise around you. And again, maybe we'll test that out in a few minutes. So audio settings, equalizer, did I change it? No, here we are. Settings, audio, equalizer. Okay, so there we go. Denoiser, okay. Tone, oh, we already looked at that. Vox, squelch, sorry if you can't hear squelch. Open squelch, normal, tight. Always want to leave it on normal. Otherwise, if you have it open, you're literally going to hear everything. Squelch tight, typically you have to have a very good close range connection in order for your radio to say, hey, I'm receiving something. Power save, generally leave it at 3, very good. Tail revert, talk out timer. You have your 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. Okay, unless you want to sit there and talk forever. You have Chinese and English, key lock, and that's it for your analog version. Program, you can program frequencies, so it looks like you can do FPP. So I was wrong. I got to see if DMR is FPP on this. To be honest, I don't even remember it being FPP unless I did it through the CPS. I got to go back and check that out because I really don't remember these having FPP. For the longest time, like I said, I haven't been able to use these radios because I couldn't program them. And now I can sit here and actually program. I'm sure I activated it through the CPS. Don't call. Hi, RCT, round 2. Looks like the microphone died and I didn't even know for the rest of the video. So round 2, the last thing I remember was we were going over, I believe, FPP, the front panel programming. Like I said before, when I first bought these radios, I don't remember them being FPP. I think once I got into the CPS, I enabled FPP and I was able to program the radios through here. As you can see here, it has the number 3, which is to program what you need in here. Now, I think you have to be on analog or digital. I think there's a way to set that up first. Let's see. Channel, so frequency, RX is receiving frequency, transmitting frequency, channel alias. This is if you want to change the alpha tag or what the channel name is, for example, channel 14. And then let's see what else there is. Receiving subcode, so you can either put CTCSS or DCS, which is the digital coded squelch, or this one continuous coded tone, continuous squelch, something like that. That's pretty much your quiet tone. And here you can select it right here. Very nice. All right. And here, so again, transmitting subcode, and that's it. So it looks like there is not a way to change it from digital to analog. So you might have to have this already set up in your CPS from what I'm kind of seeing here. So for example, if your channel 1 is digital, sorry, I keep forgetting the ring light. If channel 1 is digital, you can come in here and change the radio frequency, so the receiving frequency, transmitting, channel alias again. Again, color code. DMR uses color code instead of your CTCSS. It's kind of like your PL, private line, digital private line. You can sit here and change it from whatever you need. And there's specifics. It's not like you can punch in your own. I would be surprised if you can. I think for the most part it comes preset with specific color codes. Okay, I think that was one. Let's see here. And again, I'm trying to see if there's a way we can change it from digital to analog. I know the Baofeng DM32 you can put here if it's analog or digital, and I think that's very convenient. So there's got to be a feature in here we can do that. If not, like I said, you may have to either set up a zone that's analog first and then a digital zone, or you can make another third zone that's mixed digital and analog. But let me see. Okay, so there isn't a way to change it here. Okay, I don't think there is. So anyways, so that's pretty much the nice part about having this radio. Again, I'm trying to remember what I went through in the previous half recording so I don't sit here and repeat myself. But let's actually go through and scan this so we can see how easy it is. So again, so program, frequency. Let's find a frequency to use. So hold on, let me find one. Semi. All right, so let's try a GMRS frequency. Delete 4625625. Is it? Is that it? Yep, 5625. All right, saved. Oh, see, I don't know why it does that. It goes back. Program. Okay, let's see. 4625625. And then it goes back. That is interesting. It shouldn't be doing that. It should stay in the settings with you. Channel alias. Let's do, I don't know. You know how I like to name my channels. Can you still see here? Okay. Okay, so that's there. Up again, go back. What does it say right now? And let's do color code, I don't know, 5. Slot 1 is fine. All right, so that's that. Let's do this one. Okay. What channel is that? 1. Okay. So again, I think you have to be on channel 1 for it to stay analog or digital. Okay. We'll have to look into that later. Setting. Hey, this one doesn't have FPP. I think maybe I didn't activate this one for FPP. Yep, okay. So that's my confirmation right there. I think it was this one that I hooked up to the CPS, and I'm pretty sure I enabled the CPS, which let it have the program option right here. Hopefully you can still see a program, because this one doesn't have that right here. See settings, 3 is radio info, 4 is radio info on this one. All right, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so I guess I won't go too far into that. Maybe I'll pull the laptop out and I'll show the CPS to see if it does have the enabling for the FPP. All right, what else can we review on this? I think I talked about the encryption already, that it does have the option for encryption or scramble, however you want to call it. Check 1, 2. Check. Has analog, digital. Let's go over some of the features as far as DMR. I think I already showed you that when it comes to the analog version, there's not much you can really do with the radio compared to the DMR settings. And what I mean by that, let's go to a digital channel. Let's go to here. You see contacts, you see messages, call logs, scan, and your zones, right? And of course, settings and record. I think I already did record. I showed you that already, but I don't think I showed you messages just yet, right? So let's go to that. Okay, new message. And I think I already showed you this already. Contact list, sending, right? I think I already did show you this, so I'm not going to go too far into this. So there's that. Again, digital versus DMR. There is more you can do with the digital version compared to the analog. I don't want to go in circles, but I think I also did a radio check, digital, analog. Let me review the video because I also think I did a encryption check. And with the microphone a little closer to the phone, so you can hear directly what it sounds like on the radio versus just kind of hearing it right in front of the phone or the recording. So let me do that. I'm actually going to show you what it sounds like digital and then encryption, and then I'll go over to analog and we'll see what the audio sounds like. Unfortunately, these don't come with analog encryption, I suppose. It should have been a scramble, but I guess maybe they didn't feel it was necessary, and it doesn't come with it. So let me find a analog channel just to make sure I'm not. And it might be in the CPS. I could be wrong. It could be in the CPS, but I'll have to look at that in a few minutes. We'll jump on the laptop and see what kind of settings we have on the programming software. All right, stand by. I'm going to put the microphone a little closer. We're going to first start with digital. I'm going to throw some encryption on there, and then we'll move over to analog. Check, check, one,
Check,
two.
check, 1, 2.
1, 2, 1,
1,
2.
2, 1, 2.
Check, 1, 2.
Check, 1, 2. All right, radio check. We're walking away. This is going to be digital without the encryption. Sounds pretty clean, pretty nice. Let's move over to the encryption option number 1. Semi. All right. Hopefully you heard that. That was with one of the encryption codes or encryption options. It sounds like you didn't go through, but this is now with the encryption off. I'm going to head back and swap over to analog channel. All right, team. Walking away. This is going to be analog. No scramble, nothing special. Just a quiet tone. But this is what it sounds like on the analog. It still sounds pretty clean. Not a lot of white noise or static in the background. But other than that, it's pretty good. All right, stand by.
All right, team. So it looks like I reviewed the other video. I think the one thing I was trying to explain here about DMR is having different groups. I'm going to go over that quickly so you can understand what that means. So in other words, groups is going to be similar to having talk groups, talk IDs, talk group IDs, similar to P25. So for example, let's go into the contacts. Let's see, contact list, you're going to have contact 1, 2, group 1, 2, and 3. So for example, let's just say you're working at a warehouse and group 1 here is going to be everyone, every radio, every person, employee, supervisor, manager is going to be on group 1. If you select group 2, it's actually going to be maybe just supervisors, right? If you go to group 3, it's going to be maybe just managers. So that's how you can have a difference in what groups you want to talk to. So group 4 is maybe just receiving or shipping. However you really want to design it, that's how you can get away from actually contacting everyone at the same time if you want to split different groups up. So again, group, sometimes in DMR, I think one of the XPRs, when I was setting them up, the common setup is call 1, call 2, call 3. Call 1 is group 1, call 2 is group 2, same thing. So that's really how you can actually separate these to where you can actually make it not come through if you don't want everyone to listen to. I don't know if, let me see. Let's go. I don't think the call groups are different on here, but just for giggles, let's see if it works. So right now it should be on group 1, but if we do group 2, let's see if it works. See, there you go, group 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. It might be the same group ID, so it's not different, but you can see this showed up group 1, group 2, group 1. Check 1, 2. Check, check. Okay, now let's go to group 3. Same thing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, so you'd have to have the different groups in here with the different type of radios if you assign the radios to different groups. All right. What else was I showing on here? I think I showed text messages. I think I showed call logs. I think I was showing here. I'm pretty sure I did the record, but I'm going to do it one more time just in case. But you have to turn on record first, record setting on. And now, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's just say your radio was low and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't get a chance to hear what that was. You go back to record, these recording files, and then you select. You view, play.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Radio check.
So just like that, you're able to replay what you missed. You can delete it. You can keep it. But it's always nice to have something like this in case you're either in a noisy area or maybe you just want to have this setting turned on indefinitely for people to review if they really need to. But you can go in here and turn off the setting. but that's something kind of neat if you want to use that feature. Scan on. I think I was talking about this as well. The only reason why I don't keep scan on is because, oh, looks like if you change the channel, it turns it off. So if you have scan on, I don't think a lot of people understand what scan does in the background. Scan is essentially going channels 1 through 16, or however you set up that scan list. It's essentially eating away your batteries a little quicker than if you're going to have it not scanning. The reason why I say that is because your radio is actively switching from channel 1 through 16 in the background. Now, if you look at some of the radios, for example, if you look at a Baofeng and you turn on scan, you'll see that it's scanning the frequencies and you can see it moving along the way. Now, for these type of radios, it does it in the background, but it's still eating away batteries. The reason why I say that, let's just go over to channel 7, right? This is right now on channel 2 digital, but it's scanning in the background. If I were to hit, channel 7, this is going to take it a few seconds to get to it, only because at the time it might be scanning 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to 16, and it has to get to channel 7. Now, unless it scans quicker, it will pick up the channel sooner. But let's see how long it takes to pick it up. 1, 2, 1, 2. Very good, very instantly, right? So let's go to 14, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. Radio check, 1, 2. Radio check, 1, 2. And it looks like it's not even picking it up. Yep, that didn't pick it up, even though you can see it scanning there. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 1, 2. Radio check, 1, 2. Is it maybe because it's digital only? Let's go channel 3. No, let's go channel 8 digital. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so it took a few seconds to pick up channel 8. And because channel 8 has an encryption on here, it didn't pick it up. Or this had the encryption. One of them had the encryption. You can see up here there's a little key. That means it's encrypted. So it might have been either this. I don't think this is encrypted. Settings, radio settings, encryption, off. So it was this that's encrypted. So it looks like it came in encrypted here, even though this radio wasn't encrypted. 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. Very interesting. All right. So that's that. That's how you do scan on here. It looks like as soon as you change the channel, scan turns off, which is perfectly fine. It looks like the blinking light also stays orange. Tells you it's scanning. They call that a breathing light, kind of tells you it's doing something. And then if you turn that off, the scan, I think it goes back to green. Yep, green is going to be your traditional breathe light, right? You can't tell it's green, but it's green. All right, what else is there? Let's get the laptop, see if we can find something else on here. I want to check the laptop, but there's a recording. Your settings, radio info. I don't think I showed this before, but this is your radio ID. Each radio has to have an ID in order for it to communicate digitally. It needs to know who it's sending the message to, or who is going to do the private call. I don't think this has private call, but I can be wrong, because here you can actually go to contact 1 and 2, and you can just talk to contact 1 and 2 directly. So what I mean by that, let's see if we can find a channel. Instead of it saying group, let me go to that, channel 2. Check 1, 2, check. So it says group, and it has 3531, which is the alias, I guess, for this. So instead of saying 201, 202, it's going to say whatever the number is, right? So for example, 35. Okay. Now let's see if we can do a direct talk or direct private call, contacts, and you're going to go down here, and you're going to push this 1, 2, 1, 2. See, now it looks different. So instead of it saying group, it's going to say directly the radio that's talking to you. Now, when I say private call, it means that the Radio is on the same channel, same frequency, but it's using what they call time division. So time division, I think I've tried to explain this before in the past. I wish I could animate, but what it does is the frequency is actually moving in a slot. So what it's doing is it's kind of moving in this direction, like a square direction. So if another person goes on to the same frequency, now the frequency is moving like this at the same time. Now, of course, light speed, and that's how both of these radios can use the same frequency, but you won't hear one traffic, you'll hear the other traffic because it's actually timing the frequency going through. Hopefully that explains it. All right, what else do we have here? Messages, call log, scan, zone. Again, you can create your zones here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you have to set this up in CPS first. Before I had one zone, I was bored before I got the CPS because it was zone 1. It did have 1 through 16 digital and analog channels, but I wasn't able to change the frequency. I wasn't really able to change much. Like I said, I don't remember them having FPP, but I think I enabled it in the CPS. So let me bust out the laptop. Let me pull up the CPS and let's see if it's very easy to enable that. Stand by. I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, team, I am back. I'm going to see if you can still see all of this. All right, let's check to see which radio doesn't have the FPP. Okay, so this radio does have FPP. So we're going to grab this one that doesn't have it. Again, you can go to settings and number 3 should be FPP, or I will say program. If it doesn't, then your radio does not have FPP. Now these are using the traditional Baofeng programming cable, I guess if you would call it. Whatever this is, the USB with this big old thing, and then this thing right here, this thingamajigger. Okay, plug this in. Let's go plug this in here. So the CPS is called Auctus. Again, I hope you can see. Let me move you a little closer. I don't know how to do screen record. I apologize. But we're going to look over here. We are going to read from the radio. COM7, I think it should select it automatically. If not, we have to explore which COM it is. Usually you can tell it, hey, detect for me. But I guess it's not. All right, so we moved the USB to this side. I guess it created COM8, and now it's reading the radio, as you can see. On the left side, 9 through 100. I don't know, it's taking some time to read that. All right, there we are. Go away. So this is what it looks like here. Again, it's called Auctus.CPS. I will put the description below, or I'll put it below. But see here, it looks like you have your device information. It looks like the model name is Taishan. Very interesting. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Model number is A60000-XXX. Okay. Frequency range 430, 470. Great for a few handbands and GMRS. Firmware version, DMR, timestamp. I don't think that's updated. All right, basic configurations. So your radio name here, radio ID, read, write, password enable, vibration enable. Oh, cool, vibration. No friggin' way. Power save switch, battery mode, 1.4, voice encryption enable. I thought it was enabled, but maybe because we haven't enabled this one just yet, it doesn't have it. Tone level, earphone tone level, mic denoiser. Let's see, TX timeout. So literally everything you can typically do on a FPP is going to be here. Like I said, once you enable the FPP on the CPS for the radio, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to enable all of this as well. Same thing, squelch. Let's see, equalizer, CTC. Let's see, let's go to zone now. So it's only one zone, and we want to create a few other zones, right? So there's zone 1, there's the main zone. I don't know why, it looks like it copies it. I think this is an issue I had last time. So zone 1 is here, optional channel is what you would have here. So it looks like you have to create it here and then move it over to the zone. Because again, this is what zone 1 looks like again. So I don't know if this is just a direct clone or zone 1 is technically zone 0. Right? I'm sure we can fix that if we want to. Zone 1, zone 1. But it looks like you can sit here and create channels 1 through 16, and you're going to have to go from here to here. So you're going to go from here to here, and then you'll be able to copy them over. So you can sit here and modify your frequencies, move channel to list, move channel. So let's see how we can change it. To least selected. Very interesting. Maybe down here somewhere we change it. There we are. So right here, channel. Create channel, create analog channel, create digital channel. So right here it tells you analog, digital. Here are the frequencies. I guess what I'm confused about is you create the channels here, and then you go to zone, and then you move them into whatever zone they're available. Very interesting. I'm going to have to sit here and test this out. All right, quick text. This is where you can set up your quick text. Good morning, hello world, see you later. You can create these, delete these. You can put in there where you at or come get dinner. Contacts again, you can create your contacts. Here are the individual calls right here. Contact 1, contact 2, same thing if you put in your specific call numbers and their alias here. Turn off, go away. You can do your group calls, so it's going to be your group number ID. Right here it says group call is 1, group call 2 is this, group call 3 is this. So that's going to really tell you the group numbers of who's calling or what group is connecting to you. Also depending if your radio is programmed with that specific group. If you have all the groups, you're going to get all the groups coming to you. If you only have group 1 or group 2, you're only going to hear group 1 or group 2. Scan list, again, this is where you can create your scan list. I don't know if it's per zone. Okay, look at this. Earlier, remember I was trying to scan and only digital channels came in. That's because only the digital channels are checked off to scan. So that makes sense why it wasn't picking up the analog channels. Okay, again here, I think this is where you create your channels. Digital, yep, so 17, 18. So kind of like Motorola, you create, on the left side here is going to be your personalities as the XTS 3000 or Astro programming CPS was you create your personality is also considered your personality was considered your channel specifically, and then you can name your channel here, type, frequency, in and out. This is your buttons here. I think I did one for scan, repeater talk, high-low power, one-touch call, one-touch call 2, call 3, call 4, zone up and down, roaming switch, scrambler switch. Okay, cool. Switch. I like that. I like switches where you can turn on and off your encryption or your scrambler. In fact, I like to save some of those for long press. So here we'll do encryption side button 1, which is going to be this one right here. That's going to be the one that you push and you hold it. Typically, the top one I like to leave for light. I don't think this has an option for light. But we can do high and low power, long press 1, and scrambler switch on and off. Let's see for, what else can we put on here? For side button number 2, we can do, I don't know, what do you guys think? Scan. And the other one's going to be, oh, here's monitor. So long press is emergency, long press, high, low power, repeater talk, monitor. Monitor is going to be when it opens the squelch all the way up and you could hear literally everything coming through that channel. And I'll show you in a few minutes what that looks like. Receive group list. This is again where you can create your group list. Encryption key. I don't think you can add anything to this. Looks like these come as they are. Yep. Oh, it looks like you can change it. I don't think that's the way it works though. I think you can name them different, but I don't think you can add or you can remove encryption. Looks like it's already just set with 1 standard or 10. DTMF, you can have your codes here, PTT code, if you do DTMF. Alarm setting, let's see, system, let's see, setting name, alarm type, alarm mode, emergency, alarm channel. Okay, if you want to set up your alarm systems. DMR settings, hold time 3, active wait, remote listen. Oh, cool, remote listen. Active resend, voice head number, VIOCE. I think they might have misspelled that one. Message format, kill encoder, very cool. So you can actually kill the radio, enable the radio, meaning you can remotely turn the radio off and on if you wanted to. Active encoder, active, so let's just leave that off for now. You can do check encoder, I think that's like your radio check. You can check the radio to see if it's on. Call alert, typically you can send an alert to the radio, similar to the XTS. Remote monitor, so remote monitor means I can actually enable the radio to listen to what the other radio is listening to. One touch access, radio check. Okay, one touch access, contact 1. Okay, call function. Function is call, message, alert, radio check, remote monitor. All right, and menu. Let's see, channel, edit, show, frequency show. I don't know what this means. Let's see what it does. Roaming list. I want to make sure that I enable the FPP because, like I said before, on the other radio, it had FPP, and I don't remember how I enabled it. Tone enable, backlight, let's do 30 seconds. Standby LED switch, key lock enable, zone, quick text, contact, scan list, channel. It's got to be in here somewhere. So let's save this file. This is going to be this one doesn't have radio alias. This is going to be radio check 1. Okay, so it's going to be COTRE radio check 1, and then I always do the date 01/2026, and then I always keep it in the same file so I don't lose them. And now we're going to write to the radio. COM 8, okay. Damn it. CPS data version error. I wonder what's going on. Let's try it one more time. Very good. Powering off. So it's like there was just a fluke, I guess, as we would call it. Let's see it start up. Taking a little longer this time. Okay. Now let's see if it has that. See, there it is now. Program. Sorry, I know I'm terrible at this. Now it has program there. Now I can sit here and actually FPP the radio. That's what was missing the first time. It didn't have this, and now it does have it. All right, settings, radio info, radio alias. We could have wrote that in there, but now I can sit here and change everything that I want to. Okay, very nice. What was it that I wanted to look at? There was a few other things that I enabled in here. I think I have to enable it on this one as well before I can use it. But I think it was kill switch and a few other things that should be in here somewhere. Power level, encryption. I wonder how we get them, but remember we programmed these. Let's see if they work. Did it not work? Scan on, scan off, long press. I forgot what the long press was. It's not working. Okay, that worked. Let's see if we can hear that. So monitor means you can hear everything. It opens up the channel. Okay. What was quick? Let's see. What was it? Buttons. Button 1 was high-low power. Okay, that's what it was. You can see the H and the L right there. So high is right here, low is right here. Let's go back to analog, same thing. And I think so that's your encryption right there, analog. See the little key on the top left coming on and off? That means you're enabling and disabling encryption. Now, I don't think there's encryption on analog, but I could be wrong. Check. Okay, so see, that was the interesting part. So now we know that these COTRE radios does have encryption on analog. And again, I think it has to be through the CPS, because again, right here, you can see the key on top. I hold it, and it takes it off. One, two. Okay, now I'm going to hold it. You're going to see the little key come up. One, two. So earlier I was explaining to you that a encryption on analog is more like a scramble, like a robotic noise. And that's exactly what typically you'll get on an analog encryption. It's very robotic. Okay. Now I do really appreciate the fact that this does allow you to encrypt even your analog, so you can turn it off and on. Now we're back to regular. Now let's go to this one. Same thing. One, two. Let's hold it. And it's not enabling the encryption on here. Okay, maybe we got to do it manually. Radio settings, encrypt, on, code 1. Okay, now I see the key up there. 1, 2. Now let's see if it turns it off. So it doesn't work for digital. You can't turn off and on the encryption on digital. You can only do it for analog, which is okay. Check 1, 2. I wish you would be able to turn it off and on. See, I'm holding that button here, and it's not turning off. But that's okay. We can't have the whole world in our hands, but we can have as much as we can. So going back here are the encryption, DMR settings, again here. See, this is a kill encoder. I don't know where that setting is, but you should be able to come through and kill the radio. Nope, back. Radio info. Program. Radio settings. Audio. So it's missing in here somewhere. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. View. Edit. I'll show you on the XPR DMR, the XPR 6550, there's a way to turn the other radio off and turn the radio on. You can also remote monitor, but for some reason here, I don't see it working properly, which is okay. We'll have to figure it out another time. But this is, for the most part, I won't extend the video for too much longer, but this is going to be an idea for you to understand that these COTRE radios are actually pretty good. It offers a lot more than your common Baofeng. It offers a little bit more than most of your $20 radios. These are on eBay right now for $20. I got myself a few more because, like I said, look how convenient and easy it is to start using this and FPP it if you want to. You can fully customize this radio. You have frequency 430 to 470. So if you want to use this for handband, if you want to use this for GMRS, this is perfectly fine because it's within the power range for those two. What is it, port 90, port 95. And of course, it comes with a few other options in here as far as DMR and text messaging and encryption and recording. So it's actually a really good deal. I wish someone would come through and start emulating these or copying these and reselling them, because I would definitely buy a bunch of these as my backups. Again, not everyone wants to buy a Motorola. I know sometimes they're difficult. Like any other radio, you have to get the CPS and you have to learn how to program. Unless you enable the FPP, then everyone can FPP. But I would say, invest in your radio, get something that has more than just analog, more than just a VFO. VFO is your variable frequency oscillator. So this is one that I definitely do recommend. Like I said, I had these a long time ago, and I did a field test, and these did really awesome. With, of course, the DMR, I use them around the neighborhood when I went biking. I use them out and about. They never really had an issue as far as using DMR. And then now with these other added features, I think these are going to be great, because the last thing you want to do is tell someone, again, what me and my other ride bikes around the neighborhood, sometimes I'll go out first and I'll start riding around and she'll get on the radio and say, hey, where are you? And again, last thing I want to say is my street address or, the location I'm at. And if we want to throw on encryption or scramble, I feel like that's a little bit more comfortable than telling someone where you're at. All right, team, that's all I have. Let's go and do, check this one too. Let's do one without encryption, so it doesn't sound wacko. Check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
All right, radio check.
All right, radio check.
We'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.